must be the young prince whose birthday it is. I have traveled far and wide to... Holy rats!
Help! Help! Help me!
Fairly Oddparents fans have really been eaten these past few weeks. Even from the jump, the show had been getting pretty solid traction on cable and social media. But ever since the reintroduction of Poof/Perry, it feels like the show has been going absolutely viral with each new passing episode. He's only one of the characters to make cameos so far. We've also seen AJ, Mr. Crocker, Dale Dimmadome, and now the most recent cameo, Vicky, who was presumed by some to be dead because there was a skeleton of her floating around in the episode Lost in Fairy World. Not gonna lie, it would have been pretty funny if Vicky was just dead now, or if they dragged the joke out a bit longer before she made her first appearance here. But she was such a staple character from the original series, basically the main antagonist alongside Crocker, so it's only natural New Wish would want to bring her back in some kind of capacity just like the others. I'm trying to see Chester next, to be honest. Need that guy in the show's version of the MLB and to have the best batting average in the whole league. Perfect future for that guy right there. This Vicky-centered episode revolves around her working as a kid's party princess where she shows up to Dev's birthday party to spice things up. He's a bit down in the dumps because Dale's been too busy working on some kind of project called Project H, so we send Vicky there as entertainment to quote-unquote make up for not attending himself. Maybe this is just me, but I do find it a bit strange that Vicky's appearance seems to have stayed kind of identical to her original design. She's got some bags under her eyes to show she's aged a little, but compared to AJ, Dale, and even Crocker, her appearance hasn't changed nearly as drastically as theirs. Not necessarily a complaint on my end, it's just a bit surprising. Vicky's personality hasn't changed at all either. She's still the kid-hating, money-hungry fiend she's always been, only acting nice to let adults and sometimes other kids guards down before she strikes. Once her true colors show, she starts forcing the kids to work on some Build-A-Bear side hustle so she can make more money than what the princess gig is currently paying her. I like how she remembers Dale from that one lemonade stand episode from the original and how she thinks he owes her some money too. It's callbacks like these that have me considering New Wish as more of a sequel series as opposed to a full reboot of the first show, and I feel like some people think it's a reboot for some reason, because there's been countless times where old events have been referenced and how they've affected the present or how characters will react to certain situations. Plus just all the old characters being blatantly aged up a couple decades. On the topic of references, I was grinning ear to ear when Chip Skylark's Icky Vicky song was brought up in this episode. Twice. They actually started playing the full song during the montage of Hazel, Dev, and the others messing with her. Only doing a small clip here because I don't want Nickelodeon to destroy this entire video. Light spoilers for the Deadpool Wolverine movie, but the fact that NSYNC has been referenced in two big media franchises within a week of each other is pretty wild. NSYNC fans are up right now too. It'd be cool if Chip Scarlett also had a cameo in the future. He'd be the same age as Vicky, so if she can show up, it could work. Anyone else notice the NSYNC YouTube page changed the title of the Bye 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 music video to include Deadpool and Wolverine's names now? They know what they're doing. So after hatching their scheme to mess with Vicky and getting a fun little montage of her being fucked with for a couple minutes, at one point they try to scare Vicky by pretending to be a ghost, but she's able to get the best of them, kidnapping Win and Jasmine while Hazel and Dev get tied up. The B plot of this episode is focused on Cosmo, Wanda, and Perry wandering around Dale's basement where they learn Project H is one giant scheme to figure out how Hazel is able to live her life the way she's been, basically wanting to know about the existence of fairies while not exactly knowing about fairies still. Pretty safe to assume Dale, at least for the time being, is going to be one of the main antagonists of the whole show now, serving as the de facto replacement to Mr. Crocker, where he'll eventually learn about the existence of fairies. Perhaps if he learns about Perry's existence, he'll use his parental authority over Dev and somehow force Perry to grant wishes for him, or force Dev to make wishes for Dale. And although seeing Vicky again, that's cool and all, I think this part of the episode was better from a narrative standpoint because of how much it adds to Dev's character arc. Despite being close friends with Hazel, being rich, and now having a fairy godparent, he's still struggling to be happy on a consistent basis because of how much of a terrible father Dale is. The guy is so power hungry now that he's even missing his son's 10th birthday to do sick, twisted research on Hazel. It's totally normal for Dev to continue to have these intense negative feelings and outbursts over revelations like this as a 10-year-old kid. A kid that age still wants and realistically needs quality time with their parents. They did this with Remy Bucksaplenty in the original series, but Dev has already felt a bit more fleshed out compared to Remy in my opinion due to being a lot more involved in New Wish overall, as opposed to Remy who was a side character that appeared in less episodes than Chester and AJ. Eventually, Vicky is able to catch up to the rest of them in Dale's evil lair and is ready to tear them apart. However, because Cosmo and Wanda transform into their adult forms, Vicki instantly folds, trying to act super nice again. Obviously, because Cosmo and Wanda have known Vicki for years, they instantly call her out on her BS, threatening to call the princess company she works for and report her. Vicki gets all nervous and says she'll get her business card to help prove her case somehow, but instead she just runs out of the tower screaming in fear while the rest of Dev's party guests run free behind her. I'm gonna sound super nitpicky here, but hearing Wanda say she wished she'd known Vicki's kryptonite was adult felt like a bit of a weird line to put in, because there have definitely been times where Cosmo and Wanda were around Timmy when Vicki was pretending to be nice around his parents. I figured all those instances would have been enough for them to get a clue about how she acts around adults, but those guys are two halves of a whole idiot after all.
Nope, we're two halves of a whole idiot.
At this point, if Vicki does show up again in a future episode, I'm not sure how the crew would decide to go about it. So far, and big emphasis on so far, most of the cameos from older characters, with the exception of Perry, Dale, and I guess Jorgen Von Strangle, have been one-time appearances. If Vicki were to show up again, it would probably have to be in a scenario where she is working a different job that would still allow her to be involved with children. They could do the babysitting angle again, but I feel like that'd be a bit boring and redundant. This episode has definitely cemented Dev as my favorite character besides Perry, though. The way this show has been exploring generational trauma is very well done in my opinion. Despite Dale only having small appearances in the original show, it was enough to convey to the audience that Dale himself had also been through a not so great childhood with Doug as a father. So with Dale likely never resolving the issues he's had with Doug, he's in turn made his own baggage his son's baggage now, creating a toxic cycle where the Dimmadome family has no kind of proper parenting whatsoever. Plus, based on some of the upcoming episode descriptions, it sounds like Dev is going to continue to go down this dark path until further notice, because of an episode titled The Battle for the Big Wand has a synopsis revolving around Dev and Erep, formerly known as Foop, taking over Fairy World. I'd have to assume this is going to be Dev on his worst behavior, and Hazel is going to need to get through to him somehow. Curious if they're going to go down the role of Dale getting redeemed too. I'd be fine with him just staying a villain, but if they do go down the redemption road, Doug would have to make an appearance one way or another, since he's kind of the root cause of all this toxicity. Looking forward to more episodes like this in the future, because this is where the show shines the most to me. Fun shenanigans mixed with some serious moments that don't make the viewing experience feel jarring in any way. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, because I'm always weirdly nervous about taking the leap to talk about new shows for the first time, regardless of their popularity. So if you'd like to see more videos about Newish in the future, please don't be a stranger to leaving a like down below and subscribing with the bell turned on. And if there's any other old characters you'd like to see pop up later on, let me know. I'd love to know your thoughts. But if I'm gonna keep it a $1.50 with you guys, I feel like we gotta lower our hopes just a bit for a certain pink-hatted bucktooth man to show up again. I swear to God, man, if one more person tells me that that bus driver is Timmy, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna get upset.
Damn, he's getting upset!
Huge thanks to my gold tier patrons, Lunar, Izzy Torium, Draconis, and London Morse. You guys' support really means the world to me. But for now, I will see you guys next time. Peace out, take care, bye-bye.